A puzzling race against time and space. Eric's out on a cruise in his dad's space shuttle when, out of gas. To get home safely, he'll have to ride out on his space scooter and pick up some gas canisters, if he can find them. Prepare yourself for a pretty gosh darn corny cutscene, with a couple of folks drawn in a similar amateurish style to that which we saw with Jeopardy, or Wheel of Fortune. It's quite cringy. Your boys fly in his spaceship, complete with novelty mirror dice. He breaks down, much to the chagrin of his wife, who looks like a bit of a ball ache if I'm honest. This is the first thing you see, and suffice to say, it didn't give me a whole lot of hope for the game. Perhaps someone else should have tried their hand at drawing humans, as it was not the cutscene artist's strong suit. All I can assume is that the development team was not a large one, as everyone else was too busy making an actually good, original game. The idea is to pilot this mini spacecraft, it must be a landing module or something as your girl stays back in the main ship, and travel around these top-down mazes looking for gas. These are represented by circles with either the letter G or a number on. You need to collect all of them on a stage by shooting at them, which you do with B. Fuel canisters with a G on can be collected at any time, but the numbered ones have to be done in numerical order. They'll be flashing if you're up to that number, otherwise cannot be shot. At first, these will appear in roughly the logical order you'll come across them, but pretty soon you'll be traipsing back and forth all over the place looking for the blinking one. Clearly it pays to remember where a later number is should you find it, as these levels are time sensitive, with a limit that is perfectly measured really, starting generous on the earlier levels and becoming very tight indeed later on. Each time you shoot a gas canister, 10 seconds are added to your timer, as well as 100 points. There are little pulsating black orbs in places, which can also appear sometimes when you smash into a wall. These are worth 100 or 200 points. They're worth collecting if you can, especially early on when you have more time, as an extra life is given for every 5,000 points. You can also spawn clocks occasionally by crashing into walls. Whether or not the locations are random or predetermined is hard to say. As far as I can tell, the ship itself is indestructible. The only way to die is to run out of time. It's rather a good job you don't take collision damage because the movement is almost like ice physics, very momentum based and slidey, meaning the actual ice sections later on are completely crazy, with friction basically being reduced to zero. The ship will pinball around off of everything, and when you're learning the controls and the feel of the movement, it adds to an already comedic premise. It looks like this guy really can't drive, certainly not well enough to pilot a spaceship. At the start of every stage, he haphazardly spirals onto the screen in such a chaotic manner. Collecting fuel wouldn't be a hugely interesting objective were it not for the various enemies strategically located in the most irritating of places. None of these hurt you directly, as I say, but they readily barge you off course and often require intricate skills to dodge around. These figural-looking enemies are particularly bad for this, often moving quickly back and forth across the entrance to some corridor you're trying to get down. A lot of enemies also fire at you. They're not so much aggressive as they are moving and firing obstacles, as they don't target you but just require you to learn their various paths. It's a fine balance between cautiously navigating around them and going fast enough to complete the levels. As you'd expect, rushing around can easily cause you to rebound onto some conveyor belt that drags you off course. You can drive the other way on these, but it's very slow. It might be worth your while to just let them take you, honestly. Later levels are very conveyor belt heavy, with gas canisters in little niches in the corridor walls, requiring quick responses to shoot as you fly past. This can get a little tiresome, removing the skill element in favor of quick reflexes. Often though, with these sections, barging into the walls can reveal a lightning bolt symbol that speeds you up. These are usually in a place where you'd otherwise be moving too slowly on a belt to beat the time comfortably. There are only 2 or 3 songs in the game, and they alternate per level. They're decent enough, but more variation would have been nice. The sound effects are great, as are the in-game graphics. Any worry the cutscenes might have given us are assuaged with lovely tile work and a much more professional looking clarity all around once you're in-game. Sure, there's not much variation again, but it's very well done. There are 64 levels altogether, each with a semi-humorous name, in the manner that Lemmings or Cannon Fodder would utilize later on. Gameplay definitely gets a little repetitive, with some levels annoying for the sake of longevity, and finishing the whole thing in one go would take some staying power on your part. Overall though, Out of Gas is a good, quick blast of a game with a reasonable amount of password saves, one for every 8 stages, whereby you also get another quick cutscene of your lady friend looking ever more bored out of her skull. She should have come with.